Hello, light workers, Shambhala warriors, rainbow warriors, indigo children. Today I'm talking a little bit about Mary Magdalene, who is the goddess of the Western Christian tradition. And it's really powerful to look at her story because I see her story as the collective feminine to a great degree. I had to put a trigger warning on this because pretty much anytime we talk about her story, there's going to be a trigger warning, but I want to focus on her message to us. Okay. Now, I want to also mention a couple of things. Number one, Shakti tribe views straight out. Mary Magdalene was Jesus's wife. She is now known as the Apostle of Apostles by the current Pope, Pope Francis, and July 22nd is the day of her feast. So if you would like to acknowledge the divine feminine, you can see that as Mother Earth, Sophia, Mary Magdalene, possibly a feast with cakes and lots of beauty, pomegranates, lots of fruit, abundance. Okay, so Mary Magdalene is really the Lakshmi, or the goddess of fortune for the Western tradition, and she really represents, I think, unconditional love more than anything. Now, in 591, Pope Gregory called her a prostitute. She was a sinful woman that was washing Jesus's feet. That stuck, and to a great degree, we got fucked. Women got fucked. We didn't really have much of a voice. And that's shifting. So in order for this to shift, we actually need to create divine feminism, which is people that literally worship. It's not just equals. It's like worshiping this energy within us. Okay. So to carry that on, that I think it was 2011. A lot of the Catholic Church, who's done a lot of evil things straight out, let's face it, there's a list of them in the notes. There's also teachings in the notes if you're interested. Said, hey, wow, there's like actually nothing here that said she was a prostitute. Pope Gregory just made that up. Okay, so we have basically Jesus's number one disciple. She was known as his favorite and was often seen kissing him on the mouth. There's some conjecture that they have 3 children. I believe that they had 3 children. The other apostles were jealous. She was given some secret teachings, and the book of Mary Magdalene is part of the Gnostic Gospels, which is surprisingly very similar to Tantra. Okay, so I am going to just deliver a message from Mary. This actually comes from my fantastic book, Tarot Readings with Doreen Virtue, because she just says it so well. Okay, so we could, if Gregory was around, he might say, hey, well, I'm actually just saying that anybody could be absolved of their sins. If this prostitute could be absolved of her sins, she could wash the guru's feet, which is the greatest gift that you can have when you're with a teacher. But in doing so, he basically subjugated women for centuries and thousands of years. So this will not stand, because that's just really stupid, along with a lot of the other evil, stupid things the church did. They threw the divine feminine under the bus. So we are celebrating the divine feminine on the day of the Mary Magdalene feast. It's a great way to reclaim the divine feminine, which is in you. And that's really Jesus's and Mary's message, by the way. It's in you, and certain control systems took the divine feminine away or subjugated the divine feminine, because we are in direct resistance to the status quo. Okay, so in the Magdalene Gospels, everything shall be made anew. Okay, so the old patriarchal structure is crumbling. We go to first principles. The masculine and feminine are equal, and there's a lot of forces that are unseen that are evening things out as we ascend. So her Gospels are actually about ascension. And they're also about manifestation, which is our true nature. But I'll get into that another time. Okay. And I invite you to think of this as a meditation, not about me, not about this avatar. It's about getting in touch with that unconditional love inside of you. So this is the message from Mary Magdalene. Unconditional love. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearance may be. Okay, so right now we're having a lot of chaos, and it's like, wow, this really sucks. Okay, but this is like labor. It's messy. It's chaotic. It hurts. Okay, it's going to take a while to get the baby out. The partnership consciousness that's coming through. It's it's a process. So it's important that we love ourselves when we're in this process, which is sometimes very, very difficult because of all of our distortions. Okay, so the message from Mary, and this is the one that I got back in 2020, just before Easter. She's like, hey, I want you to deliver this message. And I'm like, I didn't even know it was Easter. I don't consider myself Christian. I'm a devotee of Jesus Christ. I'm a devotee of Mary Magdalene and the true teachings, which have nothing to do with most churches, straight up. We know that, right? And if you're listening to me, you probably agree with me. So anyway, this is a message to you from Mary Magdalene, and I'm just voicing the feminine. I'm providing a voice, and that's it. I'm just a channel, and I seek to realize more Mary Magdalene within me, and I believe she was an enlightened being, equivalent to Jesus. And in fact, her Shakti, which is what a lot of the masculine is after, the feminine Shakti, the womb mysteries, that is what actually gave him the confidence, the juice, the prana, to become who he was and realize his destiny. Okay. Without Mary Magdalene, I believe that Jesus wouldn't have been Jesus, wouldn't have been able to rise the way he did. My glasses are weird, but there you have it. I can see myself in them. All right. So, a message from Mary Magdalene. I invite you to close your eyes and just breathe into this. I'm not what most people think, yet to defend myself would be to sink to a lower level than I am comfortable with. I am one with the divine, just as you are. And it is here that I choose to reside. The lower levels of human bickering, judgment, and chaos are just that, lower levels. I choose to do my work from the level of higher consciousness, where love reigns supreme. It is here that the most can do good, and I urge you to do the same. Where you dwell in consciousness is where you truly dwell. Okay. So focus your thoughts on the good things that you can find in people and rise above all appearances otherwise. Don't worry what other people think or say. Okay, divine feminine is going to look weird, y'all. Okay, we can heal this situation with love, not judgment or anger. Send love to those who have hurt you. This is really hard, or misjudged you. Forgive yourself for what you think you've done or have not done. Release old unforgiveness towards others to help yourself heal and move on. Okay. So her name is pronounced Magdelene, and the Gospels never call her specifically a prostitute or a sinner. She's been called one by misogynists. So we're going to have to put a little pin in here, because I believe that sex workers that are empowered adults at choice can be very sacred healers. However, most of the time, prostitution on planet Earth is not based in that. And I believe that Shakti Tribe believes that it should be made legal. Women need to be protected, respected. Okay, they shall be protected and respected. And misogyny is going down. Okay, so Mary Magdalene nonetheless overlooks false judgments. She's unconditionally forgiving. And she has a beautiful, sweet energy. Her significant role with Jesus as his wife was described in the Gospels include washing his feet, witnessing his death, and being one of the first to whom he appeared after his resurrection. Okay, so controversies about other roles she may have played, including his bride, temple priestess, or disciple. There's other messages about that. So the thing about any of these Shaktis, because she's the Western Shakti, she's it. You call upon her for help with forgiveness and opening your heart to more love. Okay, opening your heart to more love. That's who you are. You know, we're equals. We're not subservient to the masculine. You know, women during Mary's time were prostitutes so they could feed their children and they could eat. That's why, right? That's why they did it. That's why we always do it. Okay, or they're, you know, sold into slavery. Okay, this is a real thing that we need to look at on our planet, and it's huge forgiveness there, right? But to me, it says that in a way, the feminine has sacrificed her true self, true nature, to maybe show a contrast, to maybe there's some lessons there. Okay, there's some lessons there for us, for all of humanity. The perpetrator, prostitute archetypes for the masculine and feminine will not stand. And we are here to balance out, harmonize the sacred masculine and sacred feminine energies on planet Earth and weave and expand consciousness. We're manipulating physics with consciousness, and women are badasses in that area. But we must move past the illusion and the trauma that we carry in our wombs. So the womb is actually a magical space, or the Holy Grail. Okay, so that's part of her teachings. So these are part of the teachings that supposedly she did receive teachings from Jesus that none of the other apostles received. I believe those were the womb teachings. And the Gnostic Gospel, Mary Magdalene's Gospels, were actually found buried in the desert in Egypt. Crazy, right? I mean, this is like crazy stuff. It's not complete, but there's a lot in there that's really, we could say it's quantum physics. It's all about Tantra. It's all about, you know, humans are magic. We're divine beings. We're, you know, Mother and I are one. Mother and I are one. So, yeah, it's going to turn the world upside down. The divine feminine is rising. I invite you to raise a glass or make a offering to Mary Magdalene on July 22nd, 2023. The divine feminine is here, and it's all about unconditionally loving ourselves and unconditionally loving other people, being the masters of our own domain. Love to Mary Magdalene, love to you. Thank you.